everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Growing with the Moon. I hope you're all doing well. I have to confess to having had a bit of a crisis since my last video, which was an update on my reference media. After posting that video, I was sent a link to a biodynamic planting calendar issued by the Biodynamic Association of India. It is a great calendar, and I'm very grateful to Edward Morgan for being so good as to forward the link. I'll leave a link to the resources page of an organic farming website where you can get the calendar, along with a couple of other versions. Plus there's some other interesting stuff about the whole subject of biodynamic gardening and moon cycles and the like. It's very good, and you can sign up for their newsletter if you feel so inclined. Anyway, just before getting this calendar, I'd found a website run by something like the Polish Association of Allotments. At the time, I'd been looking for something that would suggest appropriate jobs and tasks for the relevant months, something to give me a guide as to what I should or could be doing and when. There are plenty of such sites that are America-focused or for other geographical areas, and I'm sure they're all excellent, but I wanted something more relevant to the place I'm living and gardening. No point in reading that it's an excellent time to plant bananas when I'm knee-deep in snow. This site, interestingly enough, also comes with a bio-calendage. As you can see, it has symbols to represent flower, root, leaf and fruit days, and also shows the moon's ascending and descending periods. It also very clearly marks the days where no work in the garden should happen, which corresponds with full moons, eclipses and other such events. Then I compared the two calendars, and that's when my descent into uncertainty started. The first issue was the fact that the days for flower, leaf, etc. are slightly different, but that's okay. The Polish calendar goes with the tropical zodiac, and the Indian calendar goes with the sidereal zodiac. The difference between the two is that they have different points of origin. According to Lunarium, the difference is approximately 23 degrees, and because of this, it can easily happen that according to the tropical zodiac, the moon is in one sign, say Aries, while according to the sidereal zodiac, it is in a completely different sign, say Pisces. I'd already decided that I would run with the sidereal zodiac this year, so this difference is no big issue. I can use the Indian calendar for that. And Lunarium also use it for their gardening calendar. As a side note, the calendar I was using last year claimed to be using the Astronomical Zodiac, which is allegedly all about the moon moving through the actual constellations. This gives irregular spacings of time due to the different sizes of the constellations. I did try finding another source for this zodiac, but got nowhere, and indeed I read that it's very difficult to find a definitive system of establishing exactly when the moon moves between the different signs. Anyway, I digress. The second and most curious problem for me was the timing of the ascending and descending moon, as you can see here. My original understanding of when these phases changed came from the calendar I used last year, and they stated that the end of Scorpio was the start of the ascending phase and the end of Taurus was the descending phase. I took this on because I had heard of Scorpio rising, although in fairness it was because it was a fine album by the band Death in Vegas and not any cosmic reference media. So when I saw the Indian and Polish calendars were at odds on this subject, I had to go deeper. Lunarium's rule is that the ascending starts on the second half of Capricorn through to the first half of Cancer. Descending is second half of Cancer through to the first half of Capricorn. But they also say that this should be calculated using the tropical zodiac, so that's a touch confusing. The Indian calendar uses the same points for the onset of the different phases, but calculates them based on the sidereal zodiac. The Polish calendar either uses the tropical zodiac, which it uses for day types, with the start of Cancer and Capricorn as the trigger points, or it uses the sidereal zodiac with the start of Gemini and the start of Sagittarius as the start points. So I went looking elsewhere. Astrology-info.com. Their calendar shows both the tropical and the sidereal zodiacs. Based on the tropical, it looks like they go with Lunarium's rule. But changing to the sidereal zodiac, it looks closer to the doctrine from last year, with ascension starting near the Scorpio-Sag transition. Although the fact that the green line doesn't really change at all doesn't fill me with immense confidence. That said, there is a German influence to this site and they are into this subject. LunarOrganics.com. They go with ascending at Sagittarius until entering Gemini, then descending Gemini until entering Sag. They sell a good-looking calendar, and here's a sneaky screenshot. It looks like they go with the sidereal zodiac for both day types and moon phases. I listened to a couple of podcasts from the website where the owner of the site was doing some radio interviews on the subject of lunar gardening. She's a German living in southern England, and as I've said, I think this subject is quite widely accepted there, so she must have a good level of ability and confidence in what she's doing. Even more of a problem for me is that it doesn't really concur with any of the other sites. So, ascending starts at the end of Scorpio, halfway through Sagittarius, the start of Capricorn or halfway through Capricorn. Descending starts at the end of Taurus, halfway through Gemini, the start of Cancer or halfway through Cancer. And which zodiac to use, tropical, sidereal or astronomical? All quite tricky. Basically, I've got to pick one method and run with it. If it doesn't work, I'll maybe pick another method next year. Looking at the summary of the 6 different sources I've discussed here, for day types my choice of the sidereal zodiac looks quite well backed up. For ascending and descending it's a tough call, but my decision is to go with the start of Sag to start of Gemini based on the sidereal zodiac. It fits with the German and Polish sites and it's not too far off last year's system. If I can plant as much as possible on days where all the bases are covered, then that's all well and good. But trying to document all the different aspects and angles for the different zodiacs for every crop planting would be way too much hassle when there's a mountain of work outside. To me, it is a little strange that there would be such variance in approach to something so important to lunar gardening. But then, I'm still a complete beginner and only seek certainty from others because I know so little myself. Now this is all sorted, I can start putting dates on the calendar for all the work that needs doing. I'm using mostly the same garden plan as last year, although pumpkins and peppers are new additions, and there will be some new raised beds. The weather here has prevented me from doing much outside apart from shoveling snow, but we seem to be pushing back above 0 degrees on a fairly consistent basis, so I can start doing a few things. In fact, yesterday was a busy day. As I pulled together all of the wood for my raised beds, gave the compost heap a much needed turn, and started some weeding. I hope your plans for the new growing season are coming together nicely. If you are already gardening based on lunar cycles, what do you use? Any fixed opinion on this subject? It would be great to hear from others. Anyway, thanks as ever for listening. Hopefully in my next post, I'll be able to let you know when the first seeds went in. But there's a load of building beds and weeding to squeeze in before then. Okay, take care. I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.